Hola, amigos. This is Billy Sheehan. You're watching me right here on BassPlayersOnly.com. Arrivederci. Hi, everyone. John Liebman here. You're watching for BassPlayersOnly.com. Coming to you today from the Roto Sound booth at the 2019 Winter NAMM Show, Anaheim, California, with our old friend, Mr. Billy Sheehan. How you doing, Billy?
Again. Great to see you again.
Great to see you again, too. Last time we saw each other was in Germany at the Warwick Bass Camp. And out of all the things and all the bass and everything that happened there, there's one thing that stands out. You remember the bus ride back from Warwick to the hotel? So there were 30 or 40 of us on the bus, and you led everybody in the singing of Hey Jude.
Could be.
And when we got to the part when it goes, better, 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 and I thought, oh no, here it comes, here it comes. We have 40 people going, ah! Thanks to you, Billy.
See what German beer will do to you.
And the other thing is, we sat down. You were so kind, and you said, would you like to sit down and work out some bass stuff? I'll show you some cool stuff. And,
I remember that.
It was about an hour and a half.
Couch out there. It was like a little couch thing. We did that. Yep.
Yeah. Last time, you're one of this is actually our fourth interview on For Bass Players Only. Well, we've been around just about 10 years. For BassPlayersOnly.com. Our 10-year anniversary is coming up. Great. And we did a couple phone interviews, and then we did a video at the London Bass Guitar Show, if you remember that. And there's always new stuff to talk about, winery dogs and gear and all kinds of things. So let me turn it over to you and tell me either what's been going on or what is going on, and bring everybody up to date on what's happening in the life of Billy Sheehan.
Well, thanks for the opportunity to spout off here. We're last year I did a zillion shows with Sons of Apollo and with Mr. Big. Circumnavigated the globe twice. Played all over the place. Did Australia, South America, North America, all over the place. We had a great time, but it was grueling. It was a tough year. So we got done. I was glad to finally get home. Because in the interim, I had moved to Nashville. And while I was on tour, the move happened.
I did not know that. That's quite a trend.
Yeah, so I left my LA home and came home to Nashville at the end of that. So it was quite a great, we're having a wonderful time there. That's very cool.
It's nice of your wife to tell you that she was moving while you were away.
I'm glad she gave me the address. I'd still be wandering around. But we're enjoying that very much. I was in LA for 32 years, and it's time for a little change, so we're enjoying that. But this year coming up, we've got the Winery Dogs in the month of May. I'm very excited to be playing with that. Also, the new Sons of Apollo record is, I'm about to do bass on it very soon. That's going to be out at the end of the year. We may do shows this summer with that. I'm also doing a bass and drum record with Ray Lugier, a drummer from Korn. Dear friend of mine, he lives in Nashville as well. We're working on some wild stuff together. And, I got a new version of the Yamaha Attitude bass, which is done in the same color scheme as my original P bass.
Billy Sheehan green?
No, it's a sunburst of my original P bass.
Oh, the original, okay.
Yeah, and so that's been going crazy on the internet. So that we're working to get that into production soon, and lots of other things. So.
What kind of strings do you happen to put on that bass and all your other basses?
On all my basses are Roto Sound. I've used Roto Sound pretty much from about 71 on. There was a short time I didn't use them when there was the founder of the company, Roto Sound, passed away. Unfortunately, there was a little bit of chaos, and but now it's so I didn't use them for about a year or two. Now they're back better than ever. I've been to the factory and seen them hand wind the strings, and there's just an organic feel to them that are like no others. I really love Roto Sound, and I'm so glad that they're kind enough to have me endorse their strings, and they're on all my records all the time.
I've been there too. Jason Howe brought me in, gave me the whole tour, went out to lunch with him and his wife. It was wonderful.
Oh yeah, it's great. Fantastic.
Tell me about the rest of your gear. You're playing EBS, I believe, right?
Yeah, EBS has a new pedal, new version of my pedal this year. Probably the third and final iteration of it. I'm using Keith McMillan 12-step. It's like a Taurus pedals, it's only this big and this thick. And it's 12 notes, and you can hook it up to main stage and play chords and voices or any sound that you could get out of any MIDI instrument. Pretty amazing. Using the Hipshot D-tuner on all my basses, DiMarzio pickups, of course, Hartkey amps, Been with them for quite a while now. It's fantastic. And I'm also using the Line 6 Helix. They modeled my original Pierce preamp. I took it down to them in Calabasas, and they actually went component by component on the circuit board and modeled it, and it's glorious. And so I'm really pleased about that. I've been using it on all tours last year. So the gear situation is good.
Well, good. But the sound still comes from the hands.
It's true. And that's where roto-sound comes in, not to be overly
roto?
Overly roto. Good point. But where your finger meets that string is where everything happens. Right. And that's the feel that you get off the instrument. And the strings probably have more to do with it than anything, in my humble opinion. Yeah. But I still practice a lot. I've got a whole bunch of new bass things I'm working on. I take my phone out and selfie video the new ideas. So I have like hundreds and hundreds of these little...
What do you practice?
Everything, constantly. I'll sit and just practice quarter notes, eighth notes, 16th notes with a metronome for hours sometimes. Drive people crazy around me. Say, will you stop? You know. But
I had a roommate on the road one time, and I was doing this. It's like somebody's sticking needles in me.
Knitting needles, no less. But yeah, I'm still. The more you learn, the more you realize you don't know, and I love that. I practice more now than I think I ever did, and I'm just so pleased when I find something that I can't do or that I don't know. And then it's just a new mountain to climb. And you get to the top of it, it's another satisfaction. And of course, the cliche is true. What do you see next is another mountain. Yeah. So I'm very, very happy to be in a physical shape and the state of life and mind that I can do my bass playing full time, all the time. Supremely thankful to people that come to shows and manage to give me a salary to keep my life going so that I can do more bass. And so to them, I owe the best I can do, and so I practice as much as I can, so when somebody comes to see a show, I can do my absolute best for them.
That's very inspiring, and that is applicable to all you folks, too, regardless of what level bass player you are.
True.
Yes. You spelled out quite a bit that you have coming up, but what about long range in the future? Is there a particular kind of project, or is there something that you've always wanted to do that you just haven't gotten around to yet?
Well, unfortunately, one of the guys I really wanted to play with was Paco de Lucia. Not that I'm up to the level that I can play with him, but unfortunately he passed away a while back. But I like a lot of flamenco. No, flamenco is where you stand on one leg and play. Also flamenco, but there's a couple of Indian musicians also that I'm very fond of. Would like to at least meet. But again, I don't think I'm up to the level where I could keep up with them. But I'd like to get close enough to watch that stuff go down.
Well, I'm sure they could learn as much from you as you could learn from them. So
I don't know.
Why not? I have one more question, and I do remember asking you this in London, but maybe you don't remember, and maybe you don't remember the answer, so I'm going to ask you again.
Here we go. I hope I get it right.
Well, there's no right or wrong. What would you be if you weren't a bass player? Something outside of music.
Oh, I would probably own a bikini shop somewhere.
That's what you said. I guess you must mean it because your answer's consistent.
Well, you gotta do what you love.
Well, Billy, thanks so much for sitting down with us for a few minutes. It's always great to see you, and you inspire me, and you inspire all of them too. So keep doing what you're doing, and I'm glad to hear that you're still practicing and taking your bass playing seriously.
Very much so. Very much so.
Thanks.
Have a good damn show.
All right, thanks, Billy. On location with Mr. Billy Sheehan at the Roto Sound booth at the 2019 Winter NAMM Show in Anaheim, California. I'm John Liebman. You're watching for BassPlayersOnly.com.